Coming up on Oxford Weekly News, students have different ways to get to class. Will Gears prefers another method. But first, Talawanda High School aims to educate students on the dangers of vaping. Welcome to Oxford Weekly News. I'm Joe Gernig. School districts across the country are fighting an increase in the number of teens using e-cigarettes. Here in Oxford, Talawanda School District is fighting the health hazard with a new anti-smoking and vaping initiative.
This is a Juul pod. A single 5% pod contains over 2 packs worth of cigarettes and nicotine. And they're popular at your local high school.
I think I've taken 1 pack of cigarettes this year, maybe 2 or 3 cans of dip, and then I've probably 30 or 40 Juuls for vaping devices.
On April 15th, Amy Messick spoke to the Board of Education about why they started a preventative initiative.
This behavior is not unique just to our community, as the United States Surgeon General has recently declared it an epidemic among young people in this country.
This epidemic led to a law making it harder for stores like Studio Vapes to do business.
Before that went into effect, it was 30 packs of pods a day, easy. But now it's 10, 12, 15.
Brad doesn't mind the policy, though.
I don't think there is any good addiction to start, especially at a young age. I mean, if you're going to get older and decide, so be it. But it's so accessible to the students or kids. So I think the new law is great.
Students caught smoking and vaping can receive in-school suspension. However, Talawanda students are fighting off substance abuse with events like dodgeball tournament. For others, Officer Butler is there for them.
You know, I talk to kids all the time, and the thing I always tell them is it's not a new thing, and you know, I'm trying to help educate them that they're being used as a revenue source, and not, you know, this isn't something cool. It's a way for someone to take advantage of you.
U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell is pushing for a new law to raise the minimum age from 18 to 21 to purchase and abuse tobacco products. Currently, there are 12 states that have already passed similar legislation. The Preble County coroner has released its preliminary report following a boating fatality in Houston Woods State Park. Gerald Parlett's boat capsized while on Acton Lake on April 9th. The Preble County coroner's office says a preliminary autopsy report reveals that Parlett had a host of medical problems, including a bad heart disease and a partially amputated foot. The coroner's office does not suspect foul play, but will not know for certain until the full report is completed. Following a report of sexual assault near Kramer Elementary School, 2 girls, one age 13, one age 2, called police claiming they had been sexually assaulted by a male. However, Oxford Police Lieutenant Laura Fenning says the original report turned out to be unsubstantiated.
Through quick investigation after the complaint was made that it was unfounded. Unfounded means that there's no basis for a criminal complaint, that the circumstances perhaps perceived are not a violation of any kind of law.
Lieutenant Fenning believes a misunderstanding led to the initial report. For that reason, all allegations have been dropped. Next week, Miami's disciplinary system could change. Ryan Terhune has more on how these changes could impact students.
On March 24th, Miami's Student Life Council will vote on a proposal to change the university's disciplinary system. But Gus Lazarus, a local attorney and student legal advocate of 5 years, thinks the changes are a mixed bag.
The most interesting thing, I think, will be that now we're going to have this huge influx of cases that normally we would say accept the recommended sanction, don't have a hearing. Now everyone has to have a hearing.
More hearings means more cases for local lawyers, but Lazarus worries that students could talk themselves into trouble or make statements that could later be subpoenaed with limited opportunities for appeal.
But right now at Miami, you can only appeal on 3 grounds. And the ground that you want to appeal on, which is they got the decision wrong, you know, the facts, they applied the facts to the standard incorrectly to say I was responsible when I really wasn't. That's not a basis of appeal.
According to reporting in the Miami Student, in the new proposed system, non-suspendable violations will retire the student court to funnel cases into one-on-one administrative hearings with an appeal option, while suspendable violations would see their disciplinary board downsized by 2 and rebranded to the, quote, Love and Honor Board. However, Student Court's Chief Justice sees more administrative involvement as a benefit.
Peers can take in their own, biases or encounters. So just by having an administrator, it kind of gets away, it's just the administrator. And granted, they aren't peers, but they're more, this is what they do for a living. This is what they're kind of trained to do more so.
Both Lazarus and Eisgruber mentioned student involvement as an essential part of the system, but until the proposal is written into the student code, it's still up for debate. Oxford Weekly News reached out to the Student Life Council, who agreed to an interview but later was unable to comment. Back to you, Joe.
On April 16th, Miami held its SEAL Awards, an event that showcases organizations for exemplary events and their people. The evening kicked off with refreshments and videos showcasing the events during the past year. Over the course of the evening, Engineers Without Borders took home 4 awards, including Organization of the Year and Leadership Within an Organization. The League of Geeks received an Event of the Year for the 2nd year in a row. Other awards included Greek Life Awards, notably a $1,000 scholarship towards a Greek student's tuition. Congratulations to all the organizations that received awards this year. Dunkin' Donuts has come to Oxford. The new store is located on 431 South Locust Street. Dunkin' held a grand opening on Friday, April 12th, which they handed out free breakfast sandwiches until 11 a.m. The location has had multiple business changes over the past several years. Dunkin' comes after a sudden closure of the Tim Hortons not even a year after opening. Coming up on Oxford Weekly News, the former Oxford Community Pool is set for demolition as citizens await for the opening of the new Aquatic Center. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Oxford Weekly News. You might have seen him riding around Oxford, but what else do you know about him? Miami junior Will Gears started at a circus summer camp when he was in the 2nd grade. Now, he rides his unicycle to class almost every day. However, his real passion, education. He wants to be a math teacher and says that he's considering working with an organization such as the Peace Corps or Teach for America before that. Gears considers himself to be a normal student, just with a unique hobby.
I'm just a fairly normal person. I just kind of ride a unicycle and do circus stuff. It's kind of my hobby on the side, so a lot of people will play sports. And I played a little bit of sports in high school, but circus was kind of my sport. So that's what I did a lot of.
Gears also has acted as a trailblazer for his younger brother and sister, who have both been involved with circus programs. His sister is pursuing a career in circus, a path which Gears says he never really considered. This week, Oxford City Council approved a $47,000 construction project for the demolition of the former municipal pool. The pool closed at the end of last summer after 44 years of operation. The Oxford Aquatic Center, a multi-million-dollar facility, is set to open on May 25th in the Oxford Community Park to replace it. The deadline for the municipal pool demolition is set for June 30th. The City of Oxford is taking over maintenance of the black covered bridge from the Oxford Museum Association. The bridge is used as a connector in recently completed first phase of the Oxford Area Trails expansion. This means there are more people using it than ever before, which helped prompt the decision from City Council. An additional maintenance concern is new graffiti that has started appearing on the bridge. The Miami women's basketball team is losing another member of its coaching staff. Justine Ratterman will be following former Red Hawks coach Megan Duffy to Marquette University and filling the same role of assistant coach. Ratterman had been at Miami for 3 years, her first 2 as the director of video operations for women's basketball, before being promoted to the assistant coach by Duffy prior to last season. Who said Easter egg hunts were only for kids? Oxford Parks and Recreation is hosting an egg hunt for ages 18 and older Friday, April 19th at the Oxford Community Park. The trails around the park will have eggs full of coupons for your favorite Oxford businesses, among other prizes. The free event will begin at 7 p.m. Registration is still open. contact Oxford Parks and Rec for more information. Coming up on Oxford Weekly News, the city's composting program is underway. We'll show you where to dispose of your food scraps when we come back. Welcome back. 8 members of the Miami community have been awarded Fulbright Awards to conduct research or teach overseas. Fulbright is the largest U.S. exchange program that gives grants to individuals who wish to do research or teach English outside of the United States. We spoke to Lauren Votel, one of the recipients of the award, who is going to use her prior teaching experience in Brazil.
So in Brazil, I've been teaching English for a few years just as volunteer work in different places. So I really like teaching English. I really like connecting with people who speak different languages because I think it kind of shows you that we all have more in common than you think.
While in Brazil, Votel also plans to do research in anthropology, which she plans to eventually get her PhD in. Miami Communications and Marketing Department has placed a box inside the Armstrong Student Center for students to interact and discuss their experience at Miami. The 4 sides of the box have different questions, which range from why they chose Miami to how they would describe Miami in one word.
So it's a pretty simple box that we created with a question on each side. And it's a fun, interactive way for our constituents to tell us about their Miami experience.
The Communications and Marketing Department plan to use the information gathered from the brand box in order to see what Miami is already doing well and to see what areas they may need to improve on. Hopefully you've saved your banana peels and nutshells because Oxford's food scrap program is underway. Behind SDS Pizza, you can find bright green composting bins to deposit your food scraps. The City of Oxford has the bins open and ready for deposits every Saturday morning from 9 to 12:30. Newgate Arena, a new store that will offer gamers the opportunity to play with high-quality equipment, is coming soon to Uptown Oxford. Located at 35 West High Street, Newgate Arena will have over 30 desktop computers that patrons will be able to optimize their video game experience. That's all for Oxford Weekly News this week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Gernig. You can watch us on our YouTube channel. Also, connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Search Oxford Weekly News.